Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We've recently disembarked off Wonder of the Seas in the Western Caribbean itinerary. We absolutely loved the ship, and of course for this cruise we had a drinks package. But was it worth it for us? Let's find out. Now what I thought I would do in this video, as you'll see in a second, is take you through how many drinks we had per day. I've created a little spreadsheet because throughout our cruise I tried to keep track of what we drank as best as I possibly could, because I was curious to see, was the drinks package worth it for us? We paid $1,220 for our drinks package, around $610 each. We did pay in pounds as we were UK guests, but I've done a conversion to give you a rough kind of cost per day. But after a few cocktails, soft drinks and waters, was it worth it? Let's find out. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button down below. We have lots more cruise content coming from Wonder of the Seas, including a cabin tour, ship tour, dining guide, and all sorts of lovely cruise content coming your way. Jumping then into the spreadsheet though that I've created here for this particular voyage that we did. As I've said, we've done the Western Caribbean itinerary here, which actually had 4 ports of call. We had a day in Coco Cay, a day in Cozumel, a day in Roatan, Honduras, and a day in Costa Maya. So what I've done for this particular spreadsheet is break down the price per day of the drinks package, which we worked out as roughly $87, and then I've also made a list of what we've drank throughout our cruise as well. Now do keep in mind that this isn't an exhausted list. I probably have missed a couple of bottles of soft drink or water, but for the most part this is pretty much what we drank throughout our cruise. And I hope that by kind of looking at this video you get an idea as to what you may drink yourself on a particular day. Obviously days that you're in port and off the ship, you'll probably drink a little bit less. However, if you're kind of spending a day on the ship and not going ashore, then obviously you may also drink a little bit more. So hopefully this kind of video helps you a little bit there. So starting then with embarkation day, on my particular side of things, I drank 4 cocktails, 2 beers, 4 wines, which were with dinner, 2 sodas and 3 bottles of water, totaling $132. Now what I've done here is I've given the rough kind of average price of the drinks. Most cocktails on board tend to be around $14, beer tends to be around kind of $7.50, wine is roughly $11 a glass, and spirits the kind of same as well. Now again, keep in mind here that some may be slightly more, maybe some slightly less, but this is kind of a very good average price, and most of the cocktails that we had were always $14, and the wine that we would have with dinner was around $11. So this is a pretty kind of good idea for you. So as you can see on day one, I drank $132 worth of alcohol. The drinks package cost us $87, so technically there I drank a roughly $50 more than had I paid the prices separate. So actually they're kind of really good value. Kate, my wife, she drank $107 worth. Again, we've paid $87 if you like for the drinks package, so she's drank technically $20 more than what we've paid for the drinks package. Now keep in mind as well that when you don't have a drinks package you will pay gratuities as well, so this is just assuming no gratuities, just to keep it nice and simple. But again, if you then work through the various days and stuff as well, we can start to see a bit of a trend. Interestingly here on Coco Cay, again I've drank kind of a variety of different cocktails, beers and wine, totaling $131. Kate didn't drink too much this day, but she still managed to drink around $95 worth of alcohol and drinks. So again, still totaling more than the actual cost of the drinks package. So moving now to our first day at sea. Obviously on your day at sea you're just on the ship, you're not getting off the ship and going into a port, so you tend to drink a little bit more, and that was the case here for my first day at sea. So as you can see here, I drank 8 cocktails, 1 beer, 2 glasses of wine with dinner and 2 sodas, totaling $148. And again, I've paid $87 roughly for the drinks package for the day, so I've drank, if you like, $60 more than I've actually paid, which is quite nice. My wife again didn't quite drink quite as much as me, but she's drunk, if you like, $108 worth of alcohol, again only paying $87 for the drinks package. Now this is where potentially now it starts to get a little bit different depending on if you're going ashore in port, and this is something that you may want to consider for your cruise. Now we've done the port of Cozumel before, so we stayed on the ship that day, which is why these numbers may seem a little bit higher. So while we were in Cozumel, I actually drank 11 cocktails throughout the day. Now this was from early kind of in the late morning, kind of 9 a.m. or so, all the way through till kind of end of the evening and stuff, after a few drinks and a bit of nightlife. So on this particular day I drank 11 cocktails. I had 3 beers throughout the day, again some glasses of wine or spirits with dinner, and then soda and water throughout the day, totaling $223. So this was my biggest day here on board the ship. Again, lots of cocktails drank because we were solely on board. My wife, again, drinking a few cocktails there and water, totaling $101. So again, we're both beaten, if you like, the price of the drinks package. Now, what's interesting here, obviously, is that if you were choosing to go off the ship, and as you'll see later on in a moment, we did actually venture off the ship, these numbers start to come down. So you have to kind of sit and think, am I getting off the ship every day or am I not? If, for example, you've done the Port of Cozumel before like we have and you're staying on board, you may wish to kind of get a drinks package just because you know that you're going to be drinking more. If, however, you're venturing off every day, maybe it's not so worth it. It just depends on how much you drink. Keep in mind as well with the likes of dinner, it's very easy to rack up a few glasses of wine, and at $11 for a glass of wine, they do start to add up quite quickly. Now, moving on to our next port, which was Roatan. Now, during our port visit here to Roatan, we actually got off the ship and did an excursion when we were off the ship for a fair few hours. And as you can see, as a result of that, we actually drank a little bit less. So on this particular day, having got back from our excursion, in the course of the evening, I drank 5 cocktails, I had 3 glasses of wine with dinner, and had a few sodas as well. So on this particular day, I had drank $124 worth of drink. Now, keeping in mind that we've actually been off the ship there for around 6 hours, that's still a fair amount of kind of alcohol and a fair bill racked up had we not had a drinks package. Again, with my wife, fairly similar, drinking around $103 worth, and this kind of then continues on into the next day when we had Costa Maya, where again we got off the ship and did an excursion, and I ended up drinking here again around 6 cocktails, some soda and water, totaling $108. Now, Kate on this particular day here actually stayed on the ship in Costa Maya. She didn't want to do the excursion. And as you can see, as a result, she's drank a little bit more in terms of cocktails and water, totaling $120. So you can see the difference there between necessarily staying on the ship and obviously venturing off. It just kind of depends on how much you drink when you then get back. So moving then into our final day at sea, you can see here that I've drank, again, quite a few cocktails, being that we're solely on the ship. And I've also gone through quite a lot of soda and water. Now, keep in mind that it may seem like a soda and water is a very reasonable price, around $3.50. However, if you start to have a few of them, as I did, the price really starts to rack up. So in water alone, I had $35 worth of water that day, as they come out at $3.50 each. And the same with soda, again, $3.50, and I was having around 7 of those a day. Now, keep in mind, obviously, if you're drinking quite a lot of alcohol and you're in the sun, you do need to try and keep hydrated. So alongside ordering a cocktail, I'd often order a soft drink as well to have both and just keep hydrated and keep sensible as well. So as you can see, it really starts to rack up, and on that particular day, I had $218 worth of drinks on board versus the $87 I've essentially paid for the drinks package. Again, Kate was the same, drinking a little bit more than she has done the previous days, being a day at sea, and again, she's drunk $126 worth of drink versus the $87 for the drinks package that we've paid. I have put the disembarkation morning on here. As you can see, obviously no drinks were drunk. The reason I put that on there, though, is you can usually have some specialty coffee, such as lattes and stuff, from the likes of the dining room. But again, you can use it that day, not necessarily for cocktails, but I've put it on there in case you do have a coffee or tea or so. So there we have it then, a little look at the drinks that we drank throughout our week on board Wonder of the Seas. Now, keep in mind, obviously, that if you have a drinks package with Royal Caribbean on the likes of Wonder of the Seas, that certain drinks like milkshakes or Johnny Rockets are included. You get a really wide variety of cocktails and spirits, all up to the range of around $15. So again, in this particular spreadsheet, I've only highlighted just a fraction of what is actually available to you. Obviously, if you drink more things like spirits at $15 a pop, your bill and stuff can start racking up quite quickly. If you tend to be more soda kind of related on your cruise, then obviously you may wish to consider a refreshment package or just a soda package on its own. But again, what's nice about kind of this spreadsheet and looking into it a little bit is you start to see the difference between the likes of port days and days at sea. Now, again, as I said in the kind of video there of the spreadsheet, if you are tending to get off the ship a little bit more and you know you're going to be away for most of the day and then maybe tend to not drink too much alcohol in the evening, it perhaps isn't worth it for you. However, if you do know that you're going to have a cocktail or two in the evening and maybe a glass of wine or two with dinner, then obviously it can start to become very, very reasonable to have a drinks package. Over the course of the week there, I drank over $1,000 worth of soft drinks or alcohol, and Kate had $761 versus the $610 that we've paid each. So we both were in profit, if you like, with the drinks package. And then bearing in mind there that we didn't go too crazy. Yes, there are a few days that we've drank, a fair few cocktails, but that's over the course of, a kind of 10 to 12 hour period. So it's a long day on board, and obviously if you start spreading it out and stuff, it can add up very quickly. But I really hope this video has been helpful if you're kind of considering a drinks package. Of course, if you have any questions or anything or want to ask about our particular experience with the bars, cocktails, drinks, or anything like that, then please leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But I hope that video has helped. Again, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. It really helps us out a bunch, and there are plenty of videos coming from our Wonder of the Seas adventures. That's all for this video though. We will see you in the next one. Many thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the channel.
Ready for another cruise? Let's go!